Hi, it's Candy from Mosaic Moments. Today I want to show you something really cool. I think this is my favorite Mosaic Moments die ever. It is the corner tile die. And it looks like this. It cuts 12 corners in one swipe, which is very nice because you don't want to keep running things through your machine again and again and again, especially when you need hundreds of corners like I do on this page. On this page I use the corner die, yes, to fill in some little corners here on my photos. But also, what I think is really cool is I made this chevron print using the corner die. And I love this. This is so neat. I was on Pinterest. I was finding all kinds of quilt patterns that could easily be used using this new corner die. So I'm really excited about it, and I want to show you how I made the chevron. First off, I started with a pattern because my mind just does not work where I can see this design in my head. So I found a pattern of a chevron quilt, and it had little grid marks on it, and all I did was replace those grid marks with the grid marks on the mosaic paper, because you already have those nice grid lines. So when I looked at the pattern, I just took that one square and I imagined it as a grid line, and I went from there. And I think it turned out really cool. So cutting them out is super easy. I have a Big Shot, but any machine that you have that accepts these thin metal dies will work just fine. The dies are designed to work with a variety of machines. So you just want to read your manufacturer's instructions and make sure that you have the correct sandwich, which is what they call the stack of plates and dies that you make to cut things out. So with my Big Shot, I am putting down I'm using the magnetic platform, but you can use the platform for your thin metal dies, and then a cutting plate, then my paper, and then this most awesome die, and then a top plate. And again, use the sandwich configuration specified by your machine's manufacturer. So then I'm going to run it through. And I have just cut 12 dies. Now, if the little corners were to stick in your die, sometimes when you pick up your die, it will be actually stuck in like this. It won't come right out. There's little holes here, and you can take a pick or a toothpick or a bamboo stick or anything that's thin enough to stick in there, and you just poke it through, and then your paper will easily pop out. But I've used this die, as you can tell, a lot, and I haven't had it stick in yet. But just in case, that's what those little holes are in your die. Now, I found when I'm working with these little corners that it's easier just to get adhesive on the whole thing. So I'm using the Xyron machine. This is the 1.5-inch Xyron machine, and I'm just sticking them right in like this. You can usually get 2 in here. If you had a bigger Xyron machine, you could put more in. All you do is stick them in one side, and then you pull the tape on the other side, and out they come. And I've pre-cut the other color that I needed ahead of time. So I'm going to stick some of those in too. And basically what you're doing is turning these little dies into stickers. So you just pull, oops, I think my machine is running low. You just pull it out, and then depending on what kind you use, this one has a sheet that says rub and peel. So all you do is go around the edge of each of the corners, and what this does is it picks up that adhesive on the edge so you don't end up with it on your page. And you just rub around that real quick. Then this peels off, and you have turned your little dies into stickers, which is really cool for this. It also works really nicely for little letters or anything like that that you might cut out. Like if you get the Mosaic Moments letter plate, the letters are very thin. They're cut out like a stencil pattern, and so the Xyron would be really good for that. So the cool thing about the chevron pattern is there are only 2 patterns on here. There's one pattern on this row and then another pattern on this row. And those are just copied. So if you're on this row, you know that it's going to copy the one 2 rows below it. This row is going to copy the one 2 rows below it. 2 rows below it. So you can just look at what you've already done and just copy that pattern. It makes it super easy. So in this one, so I've left 3 spots here that I didn't use, and we're going to copy this row here. So I have the white one, and that's going to go on here, and you're going to line it up just to cover those lines, just like you would if you were doing a square here, but instead of the square, you're doing 2 pieces to fill in that square with the corner die. So then we're going to go to the next one, and again 2 rows down. So the next one is going to fit on like this. And then the last one is going to go on here. And you know, if you're more graphically minded than I am, you might just quickly see this pattern and not need all the little guides, but my mind just does not work that way. So there we have this beautiful page with the chevrons. Now you're wondering where I knew to put the photos and where to break up the chevrons. That, of course, is with the page pattern. So this is pattern number 215, and what I did is wherever there was a green square where you were supposed to put in a 1-inch square, that's where I used the chevron pattern and did the corner tiles in place of those 1-inch squares.